Here in the gospel, these symbols that Jesus puts before people, trying to paint a picture of what discipleship looks like and what it means to follow him. We hear light, we hear salt. And it brings to mind that old saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so I'd like to look at these pictures that Jesus has for us today. You are salt, you are light. And I think I'm going to skip over the salt because salt gets a bad rap in our culture, and it might take us off in a way I don't want to go. So let's look at this picture of light. You are light. And I think that so often when we hear that, what first comes to mind is the thing or the things we do to shed light in our world, to bring light. Things like we do to help people, things like Case was talking about, using our talents for helping people. And all of that certainly is a part of what it means in that picture of you are light. But it's not the whole story. If it were the whole story, we would just become human doings instead of human beings, which was the problem of the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, who, in observing every jot and tittle of the law, thought of it as what they did, not who they were. And so Jesus says, we're not abolishing the law, but we're going to fulfill it, meaning in the Greek that's used there, we're going to help you understand what it really means. That's what it meant, what it really means. And unless your righteousness, unless your relationship, which is what righteousness means, unless your relationship to God and to each other and to yourself and to creation, unless it goes beyond just this human doings of the scribes and Pharisees, then you still haven't gotten the whole picture. Because in the picture that Jesus paints, he says, you are light. Not you act like light, but you are light. And the challenge he gives them isn't somehow to become light as if they were not already, but is to uncover the light that they already are. To not let it be hidden under the bushel basket, and yet to let that light that you already are shine through. To be able to uncover the us that somehow has gotten covered up. Now when you and I were born into this world, we were born with a lot of things that we learned to cover up as time went by. Every single one of us was born into this world with a sense of wonder. A sense of wonder and interest in everything that was. We took the moment for the moment. We didn't judge whether it was bad or good. It just was, and we wanted to know everything about that moment in those early years. We had a wonder and an interest that was contagious. When we were born into this world, we had a trust. We just naturally expected that when we were hungry, we would be fed. When we were wet, someone would take care of us and make us unwet. We trusted that. We knew that our needs would be supplied, and we could trust and relax into that. When you and I were born into this world, we laughed when we needed to laugh. And we cried when we needed to cry. We didn't stop to think, is this an appropriate moment to laugh? Or, big boys don't cry. We simply were who we were, authentically. We had a sense of adventure. We were willing to take risks. Something new was not a change to be avoided at all costs, but was something to be explored and entered into and rejoiced in. And for at least a period of time, for at least a few years, we had a very natural generosity about us before we learned that some things were mine and not yours. We had a natural generosity for just a little while, maybe even just a few months, but a generosity that if I had a slobbery rattle and you were there, I had no compunction about sticking it in your mouth as well. We didn't stop to think, if I give her my rattle, I won't have one. We didn't stop to think, maybe this rattle isn't good enough, and she wouldn't want it. We simply gave it because that's what we did. We gave and we received love without question because that's who we were. That's who we were born to be. What a light we were. What a light of God's intention shined through us. And then we learned to hide it. We learned that we needed to sometimes put that light under a bushel and not let it show because maybe the reaction we got when we showed it hurt. Or was too strange. Or we were told we were too bright. And that light needed to be hidden some. And we learned to only take it out when we were absolutely sure it would be safe. Because we began to be afraid it could be damaged if it wasn't. And we lost our wonder. We lost our trust. We lost our ability to laugh when we wanted to laugh and to cry when we wanted to cry without thinking about it first. We lost some of our adventuresome, risk-taking spirit because if things were new and changed, then we didn't know exactly what they were and how we were supposed to react to them. So better just leave it all the same. Better never get out of this crib. We learned that. And we forgot who we were. We forgot that we are the light of that wonder and the light of that trust and the light of that authenticity and the light of that adventure and the light of that natural generosity. And then along comes Jesus and taps on the bushel basket and says, uncover your light. He says, uncover your light, especially if you want to follow me, uncover your light because God wants that light for the whole world. That God wants that light to be seen by the world. Because this world needs people who still have a sense of wonder. This world needs people who haven't gone into hiding. People who are still willing to take the new as the new and explore it. Jesus says the world needs people with the light of trust so that others can even see what that trust is about. The world needs to see people trusting each other, sharing with each other, being with each other. And Jesus says the world needs that light of that authenticity. The world needs more people who will laugh when they really feel like laughing and aren't afraid to cry when it's time to cry. The world needs people who have a natural generosity and aren't so concerned about losing what they have that they hide it all under the bushel basket. Jesus said the world needs people who are able to freely give and receive love. And that's what this whole little speech of Jesus's was about. Whether it was salt or it was light, it was about us being the people that the world needs. In the picture of light, it's about us letting our light come out of that basket so that we can be the people that the world needs in our own time and in our own place. You see, the it isn't to become something we aren't. The it is to recover something we were born to be. The it is to remember what we forgot and to let that light shine through us. So yes, a picture is definitely worth 1,000 words. But in this case, God intends the picture to be us.